right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach Hadash. The honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are well. Peace, blessings, salutations to those for elected is out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening to this truth with our sincerity. All right, may the blessed election be upon your houses. All right, the topic of this lesson is going to be on some of these tariffs, all right, and the tensions, all right, that's going on right now with China and the U.S. All right, and as you see right here, I have this article from the End Time Headlines. It reads, China accelerates plans to cut its dependence on U.S. pharmaceutical supplies. All right, and a lot of pharmaceutical things from China is really sent here, right? Babylon gets a lot of their medication and so forth to Babylon from China. All right, let's read a little bit on this article. It reads, in a significant shift that could send ripples across the global pharmaceutical landscape, China is accelerating efforts to reduce its reliance on U.S. pharmaceutical imports and biotech partnerships. The move, which analysts describe as a direct response to escalating geopolitical tensions and supply chain vulnerabilities exposed during the COVID-19 pandemic, has already began affecting global healthcare stocks. According to a recent report by Yahoo News, Chinese authorities have issued new procurement guidelines favoring domestic pharmaceutical companies for public hospital supply contracts. All right, so pretty much seeing that they're moving in ways or moving chess pieces so they don't have to rely on their import and export with Babylon. Basically just cutting ties. Setting up other ways, other avenues, other connections. All right, and this is really gonna affect the Babylonian person or citizen, at a grand scale. All right, and I read this last one right here, and then I put a link for this at the bottom of this video, Lord willing. And this one right here reads, these rules are aimed at replacing foreign-made drugs with homegrown alternatives in areas such as oncology, cardiovascular treatments, and rare medications traditionally dominated by U.S. and European firms. All right. And also, I was doing some more, research on it. And I just went on Google, just type in Google and just type in China and U.S. pharmaceuticals. All right. And when you look here, you see, a couple headlines that pop up, but right here it says 95%. Click it real quick. It says tariffs threaten a pharmaceutical shortage as 95% of ibuprofen comes from China, right? A major, pain, over-the-counter pain medication that, damn near everybody uses, right? And right here, it was like one of the little drop downs I was looking at. It said, where does the U.S. get most of its pharmaceuticals? It says the United States relies heavily on foreign-made pharmaceuticals, with China and India being primary resources for many generic drugs. And it says, in fact, in 2024, China and India together accounted for 57.6% of U.S. pharmaceutical imports by weight, right? So more than half. All right, the high reliance on foreign sources, especially on generic drugs, raises concern about national security and supply chain vulnerabilities, right? So these things, right, when you're seeing what's going on with the tensions between China and pharmaceuticals, Babylon is known for its pharmaceuticals. It's known for its medications. Majority of people are drug addicts in this place. Majority of people are popping pills. Majority of people need some type of medication to rely so they can live, whether it's they have diabetes or they have some type of heart problem or they have some type of blood problem or whatever the case may be. They mainly rely on these devils, all right, medication, all right, pharmaceuticals, all right, for their healing, right? Hey, part of the curse is having to go to the devils for the one of all things. Matter of fact, I'll get that real quick because I already had it. Deuteronomy 28:48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemy, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in wants of all things, right? So we, part of the curse is having to go to these devils for the wants of all things, right? And in reality, the Lord gave us, true healing and medicines from the earth. That's why you see a lot of brothers have been, so heavy on that, taking care of your health. You know, I want to get this also real quick because a lot of like I mentioned, a lot of Babylonians, right, are drug addicts, and this is a term that I found while doing some research. It's called polypharmacy. All right, and it refers to the concurrent use of multiple medications, often exceeding 5 or more. When you go into your average Babylonians medicine cabinet, they got a plethora of different medications in there, man. Right? They got, the opioids, they got the over the counters, they got the different types of prescriptions, all these different type of medications being found in the average Babylonian house, man. So imagine what's gonna happen to these people, right? When one, they can't afford it, it's becoming way too much. Insurance stop covering it. There becomes a shortage of it, and eventually gets to a point where they don't even have it anymore, man. Imagine how your average Babylonian is relying on these things is going to act, man. This is a major event, right, that is happening between Babylon, right, America, and China when it comes down to pharmaceuticals, man, because a lot of people that rely on it to live, a lot of people that are addicted to it and so forth, once that price soars up, which is what's going to happen at first, right, and then it's going to get to, the supply is going to get less and less to the point where there's no more, or scarce. These people are going to be bugging out, man. All right, they're going to be really tweaking out here, man. Okay. And it's right here. Let me read a little bit on this polypharmacy. Again, it says it's commonly associated with older adults, particularly those managing multiple chronic conditions, but can affect individuals of all age. Polypharmacy increases the risk of drug interaction, adverse reactions, and decreased adherence to medication regimens. All right. And let's go down, right? Some of the points of what happens from taking, basically the medication from Babylon consistently so much, all right? And then once the people stop, this is how this is going to affect them, right? It says right here, first one is adverse drug reaction. The more medication a person takes, the higher risk of experiencing adverse effects from drug interactions, right? Drug interaction. When multiple medications are used, the risk of interactions increase, potentially reducing the effectiveness of one or more drugs or causing new adverse effects. And we already see that with people that be taking these different medications, they be having to get stronger ones because their body becoming immune to it. It doesn't even work anymore. So imagine those people when these tariffs and everything that's going on with China really pops off at its peak level, and they don't even have access to those medications anymore, man. Again, that's why it's important to get into the herbs, to really use, the earth, and all the natural resources that we have, man. All right, because best believe there's a natural remedy for high blood pressure, natural remedy for diabetes, natural remedy for all these different things, man. I gotta use my words wisely, because if not, they'll strike me down for medical misinformation, right? But that's the fact of the matter. That's the truth. Right? There is a natural remedy for every single ailment that is out there, man. All right. Let me hit this real quick, man. As a matter of fact, before I even go to this, let me get this. This is a Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, the 38th chapter, verse 4, and it reads, "The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them," right? So everything that we need for healing, the Lord has gave it to us from the earth, man. All right, all these different trees, plants, fruits, and so forth, have a lot of medicinal benefits and properties to them, man. Okay, let's go to this real quick. Right here, boom, right? Because I searched this up too. I said, what country does America get most of its opioids medicine, right? And opioids are basically I guess they would be considered they would fall into the class of narcotics, like Xanaxes, Percocets, Vicodins, Tramadols. All these heavy, strong pain medications is what opioids would fall into the line of, right? Basically, it's stuff that have fentanyl too, right here. And let's read. It says, currently, China remains the primary source of fentanyl and fentanyl-related substances trafficked through international mail and express consignment operations environment, as well as the main source for all fentanyl-related substances trafficked into the United States, right? So most of America's strongest pain medications comes from China, man. All right? So the people that are addicted to those pain medications, they're going to be fucked, all right? When there's a lot of, imagine in hospitals when they're trying to do surgeries, all right, they're trying to do, all types of crazy surgeries where they gotta, give you a pain medication or a sedative or all these different things for the pain, and they can't give that to you. They gotta give you something else, Hey, it's so many different aspects of how this can and will affect the Babylonian citizen, man. All right. So all these things that's happening right now, right? Mind you, Trump just became president, right? We are in the month of April right now. Right? No, Salaki, we are in the month of May now, right? Today's May the 2nd, right? So the beginning of the 5th month, all right? And so many things are already popping off, man, right? We are at the end, we're seeing Jacob's trouble is basically getting brewed, right? We're seeing martial law getting ready to be implemented. We're seeing, I just did a lesson on the policy that just was passed to unleash police forces, right? Going to already increase tensions. All these different tariffs, especially with the medication, is going to increase tensions in place, man, right? Because a lot of these people are pill heads, man. A lot of people are addicted to these medications, man. So imagine an addict when he can't get his fix. They bug out, man. So imagine these people when they can't get their fix or can't afford their fix. They're gonna bug out in this place, man. All right. We live in a society with a lot of quote unquote functioning addicts. So once that is cut off, these people are gonna bug out, man. Right? You're gonna see uproars of the people, right? You're gonna see crime even popping off more, right? People are not gonna care, right? Let's get this real quick. Second Esdras, the 15th chapter, verse 6, and it reads, "For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and their course of their actions shall stand in their power." Right? And that's ultimately what we're getting ready to see in Babylon, America. This is going to be a reality in this place, man. Right? When shit pop off, Jacob's trouble pop off, martial laws popping off, complete civil unrest in the streets, people bugging out, full-blown anarchy, man. The purge. All right? And these people, and when you see all these things happening, right, you're seeing the cause and effect, right? You're seeing the reasoning, you're seeing the build-up and what's leading to these things, man. Right? It's inevitable, man. Right? That's why we need Yahweh Shem Shine these times, man. That's why we need the hedge of protection over us, man. Because it's about to get real bad and ugly out here, man. And if you don't have that hedge of protection over you, man, hey, you're cooked, in other terms, man. All right? It's going to get real bad out here. I want to get this real quick. I was basically going down a little rabbit hole of research on this real quick, but I typed in how long will it take for the U.S.-China pharmaceuticals to affect the American citizens, right? As expected, it says it would be gradually, right? And right here, see just points, key points. It says prices would increase, supply chain disruption, all right, delayed impact, gradual transition, right? And it talks about potential for India, because it says China and India is some of its main sources of pharmaceuticals, right? So once those prices increase, right, the price is going to increase, the supply will shortage, right? Babylon's going to try to scramble to find a new supplier. It says India, okay? And ultimately, it's just going to lead to a shitstorm, man. Right? All these things happening right now is going to lead to a shitstorm, ultimately, man. All right? Because majority of Babylonians, they are upset. They are already, what's the word I'm looking for? They're already fed up, So all these things that's happening right now are just increasing the tensions and just making more reason to show you how and why Jacob Trumbull gonna pop off in this place, man. And we want these things to happen, because all these things happening lets us know that we are close to the return of Yahushua HaMashiach, and we are close to the kingdom. All right, close out with this precept right here. This goes also with Second Esdras. This is Matthew 24:7. It reads, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places," man. And once all these things pop off with these pharmaceuticals, where it's to the point where people can't get it anymore, right? Their body that was so immune to those medications, now it's going to be vulnerable to all those diseases, all those pestilences, all these things that they were trying to take these medications to fight off, man. Right? Their immune system is going to be very weak, man. Right? There's even talks of it right now of a new pestilence, right, that's going out that doctors don't even know what it is. They don't even know what to call it. Right? Some new virus is going out right now, man. All right? So we're going to be seeing a lot of uproars of the people, a lot of famines, right? A lot of pestilences, all right? It's about to get bad out here, man. And all these tariffs, all these different articles that's coming out, all these policies getting passed is signs that's really showing you, all right, that, hey, those chess pieces are getting put into place, man. All right? It's just a matter of time until that final piece is put and shit just pops off, man. Right? But Lord willing, Yahweh Shema Shah keeps his hedge of protection over us and keeps us all the way to the end. And we're found in good favor in his sight, as long as we're doing everything that we must do to be found pleasing in his sight. All right? But, that's, pretty much the point. I'm going to wrap it up with that. Lord willing, the source edifying to the elect of Israel. With that being said, I'll give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach HaKodesh. That belongs to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who well. Peace, blessings, salutations to those electors out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening to his truth with heart sincerity. Until next time, shalom, and a ball, Kwame Sharala, shalom.